I was able to get off work early, and the weather's fantastic. Let's get back on that mounting plate. Okay guys, before we get to cleaning up over here, to get this sucker on that, let's rewind to last night and bring you up to speed on what I've got already prepared to help me out today. Alright guys, from here I'm going to tack weld this guy in place. That's going to allow me to position the motor where I want it, align the chain. I can mark the holes, then I can bust those tack welds off, take it to the drill press, we can drill out those holes and then cut them and do that thing. And then we'll come back and we will weld it in place for good. I think I'm going to stick weld this thing, but even though this would probably be a fine opportunity to TIG weld because nobody's going to necessarily see some of these welds, but just for speed and all that stuff, we're gonna stick weld. Alright, so here's where I'm lucky. This is literally the leftover chain I had from my original chain purchase, and it just so happens to be like a perfect amount to go from the torque converter back to my jack shaft. And I was smart a long time ago. I bought multiple extra master links, so yeah, master links, I think that's what they call these. So I've got one of these, I can hook this up, but I'm still running into a little bit of a clearance issue. There's a little tab on the other side of the torque converter plate. I think I'm gonna grind that off. That way I can shove this tight against the frame rail. So we will do that first. We'll get the chain where we want it. I think I might have a little bit of adjustment to do in the jack shaft, but then we can mark our holes and then I can get to drilling. Okay, clearancing that tab made a huge difference. Didn't have to do anything to the jack shaft. It can stay as is. We got the chain in, as you can see. So now it's just time to mark the holes, and we'll then break through the tack welds, and then we'll go drill those out on the drill press. But getting close, then I can come back and burn that mounting plate in and move on. Okay, so here's my little tip for locating the mounting holes. I like to use a Q-tip and paint, and I just dab up the Q-tips, load them up with paint, and I just stick them in there. Of course, I'll be making slots in this as well,
That way I can move the motor forward and backwards. It's going to make sliding it on and off with the chain. As you know, I got to store it up against the wall, so I have to take the motor off every time I want to put it in storage. But for now, like I said, get generous with the paint, and just kind of load it up and stick it in there. So we'll let that dry a little bit before we remove the motor, but if we feel good about it, of course I'll use my center punch, and then we'll take it to the drill press. Guys, I think that's going to do it for tonight. I just need to finish up cleaning up the mounting holes. I did plasma cut in between the drill marks, but we'll clean it up with my deburring tool set that we had from a couple episodes ago on what I'm calling the mill press. Seems to be working pretty good. A little slow, but it works. Alright, so here we are Saturday morning, and I got the new mounting plate all burnt in. Pretty happy with the results. You know, I'm not perfect at welding, but I think I'm getting pretty good at it. Maybe my stick rod angle wasn't perfect here. There's a little bit undercut here on top, but I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. So it did work out good because this is both quarter inch plate. I did use my 5/32 inch rod for these welds, these two, and then I switched back to 3/32 for those guys. But yeah, I think that'll wrap it up for this episode. But hey, if you enjoyed this episode and you want to show the world you too are a Straight Six fan, pick up one of my t-shirts. Link in the description below to my Spreadshirt store. That's gonna do it for this episode, and until next time, peace out.